we create a prototype, and with that prototype, we can go again with the user, test this prototype, see what they like, what they don't like, if they don't understand it, or if they don't understand something, if something is confusing, or any kind of changes that we have to make to this prototype. We iterate, we go ahead, and then we have a final prototype. And with this final prototype, they can go ahead with their investors in the case of the startups, and they have something solid and already proven that it works, that it's that the users like it, that it's already, that has a research in the background that has validated all of our ideas. It's not like just going with an idea and you just like the idea and that's all. No, like this prototype is already validated. It has a research, and it's proven that it works. So in this way, I think the percentages, or the client has a higher chance to get the funds that they want.
Hi, Claudia. Thank you for being with us and to talk about this service that we have here in WANDR. And right now it's really important to us because actually we had a collaboration with a VC called Bootstart. So let's start with the beginning. What is an MVP roadmap and why is crucial for product development?
Okay, well, an MVP, it's a minimum viable product. This means that it's the minimum feature or prototype or information that you should have within your digital product in order to gather funds or to go with an investor and show it to them, or in order for it to be a successful product. So an MVP can be either a prototype, like an app prototype. It can be also a platform prototype, in the case that your product is not an app. And we can develop the prototype, or we can tell you what you should change in your product and what you should add in order for it to be more successful. So it can be maybe like changing a specific aspect of it, or creating a whole new product that you should have in order for you to have something to show your investors.
Okay, so it's really important. And right now that we are collaborating with startups on the creation of strong MVPs, can you share why, especially for entrepreneurs, it's so important creating a strong MVP for a new product or an existing product?
Yeah. The advantages of having an MVP is that you don't have to spend so much money as you would have to spend on the real product. So that's the most important part for the startups. Because, of course, they are entrepreneurs, they don't have enough funds, and what they want to do is to go with their investors and gather the funds that they need. So in this way, they don't have to spend so much money because the development of an app or a platform is pretty expensive. We offer to them is a new way to elaborate their platform or their prototype in a much cheaper way. And in that way, they have something to show their clients or their investors. It's very hard to just go with an investor and tell them about an idea. They need something tangible that they can see, that they can understand in a more visual way in order for them to say, okay, I'm interested in your idea, I'm going to fund it. If they don't have that, it's more difficult to go with their investors. Right now that we are helping so many startups and so many entrepreneurs with this new project, is very interesting how we can help them from their idea to get their final products in a much cheaper and faster and easier way.
Can you walk us through the essential elements of an MVP roadmap? Like, what is the approach, how you do it, basically?
Yeah, so we start with a user flow. This means that we map out how the user is going to be using this product. So it can be either one user or two users. Let's say if you have an app, well, you have your main client, which is the person that is going to download and use the app. And then you have the admin user, which is the one that is going to be administrating this app. So
Okay.
we can do either only one user flow, and then the other one, the admin flow, it's usually for the next stage because that one can be more difficult. Or if the client is interested in more the admin user flow, then we can focus on that. So first we choose the user, the final user of this app or this platform. Based on that, based on assumptions and our ideas and the creativity of the team, we create like a base flow. So we say, okay, so step 1 is going to be downloading the app. Step 2, registering. Step 3, blah, blah, blah. Step 4, until we map out all of the parts and the flows of this app. And then based on that, we have to conduct a research to actually validate if this flow is the correct one. If we validate some things through the research, then that's good. If we come up with new ideas, then that's excellent. And then we, again, do this whole flow all over again. And based on that flow, then the design team can go ahead and start designing the app. We can also help the clients decide how this app is going to look, the colors, the branding that it's going to have, what are going to be, how can we make it easier for the user to understand, how are we going to retain the user, which that's the most difficult part of it. We can create an amazing app, but if it's not going to retain the user and if it's not going to be worth their time and their money, then it's not going to be successful. So we have to map out all of this. We create a prototype, and with that prototype, we can go again with the user, test this prototype, see what they like, what they don't like, if they don't understand it, or if they don't understand something, if something is confusing, or any kind of changes that we have to make to this prototype. We iterate, we go ahead, and then we have a final prototype. And with this final prototype, they can go ahead with their investors in the case of the startups, and they have something solid and already proven that it works, that it's that the users like it, that it's already, that has a research in the background that has validated all of our ideas. It's not like just going with an idea and you just like the idea and that's all. No, like this prototype is already validated. It has a research and it's proven that it works. So in this way, I think the percentages, or the client has a higher chance to get the funds that they want.
You've been working right now with some of our entrepreneurs with Bootstart and WANDR, and I'm wondering, you explain like the process of an MVP, but I'm thinking that it's not that easy, that you face with some challenges during the MVP development process. Can you share some of these challenges that you are facing with these startups?
I couldn't hear the last part.
Yeah,
I think I lost you.
I'm gonna say, ¿ya me escuchas bien? Yeah.
Sí, ya.
So I'm gonna repeat the last question. So I know that you've been working with some entrepreneurs in this collaboration with Bootstart, and you just walk us through like the whole process of this MVP development, but I'm assuming it's not that easy, that you face with some challenges. Can you share some of these challenges that you are facing with these entrepreneurs?
Yeah, well, with this specific entrepreneurs, I think the biggest challenge is helping them build their idea. So they might think they have a solid idea, but then when they come to us and they tell us about their idea, somehow we realize that their idea is not as strong as they thought it was. So what we do is that we help them clarify their idea and see what it actually is, how it can be more successful. Maybe they have a very clear idea of what their product is, but they don't know what they want it to be. So that's where we as consultants come in place, and we tell them like, okay, so your idea would be more successful if we turn it into this. And maybe we should get this type of clients and this type of users, and maybe we can create this MVP or this prototype for you. So I think the biggest challenge is clarifying this idea, helping the clients be more clear about what they want, and also explaining to them what it's an MVP and what are they going to get after we finish the whole project, because most of them are not used to seeing a product.
Okay, I'm gonna wait a little bit.
Yeah.
Give me a second.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm noticed that I think it's a common factor on entrepreneurs to have this clear idea of what they are need to do, and you are helping us. Well, WANDR is helping with that. But now it brings me a question. So you create this prototype. I don't know if you have an example here, so you can share me a prototype. But I'm assuming that you don't like put all the features that is gonna have the final product. How do you prioritize the features that you're gonna have in this MVP creation?
Well, to prioritize the features, first we suggest the kind of features that this idea should have, and then we go and validate those features. So
Okay.
everything starts from an assumption and a hypothesis. So we create several hypotheses. Based on those hypotheses, we say, okay, so maybe we should need this kind of features. And then we go ahead and we validate that hypothesis. And that's how we validate the features that we are suggesting. So in that research, we might find out that the features that we were suggesting are not correct, or that maybe we should remove some of them, or that maybe we should add some of them. And this is while we collaborate a lot with the client. So we tell the client, like, these are the features that we're thinking about. What do you think? Do you think we should add another kind of features? Were you expecting something else? And then we go ahead, we validate, and then we tell them, okay, we found out that actually these are the features that we should have. And so there's a lot of collaboration. The fun thing about collaborating with the startups is that they are very open to hearing suggestions and to do some kind of brainstorming with the team, which is very fun. And so that's how we create the product, that the client is very involved, but it's also based on our experience and our expertise.
Which is basically what we do at WANDR. I think maybe I don't know if you have this problem or did you see this in entrepreneurs, but maybe they don't think that we are going to help. Why do I need a UX agency for this, right? But basically, this is what we do with all the products. So that's why it's important to have a UX team and a UX researcher on this process. Can you share a little more about that so entrepreneurs know why WANDR is involved in this collaboration?
Yeah. So when they ask themselves, why do they need a UX agency? It's more about giving them something that it's going to actually work, that is going to be, we lower the risks of just creating something and then finding out if it's going to work. We do it the other way around. We first find out that it's going to work, and then we create something. So this way they save more money. The chances of it being successful go way, way up. And this way they can actually get the investment that they need. And your product is going to be of high quality, and it's going to be well designed and well done. Because some of them, what they do is that they go directly to developing the app, which is very expensive. They design it as they think it could look better, and they think that that's how it's going to work. They haven't validated anything. Everything is based on assumptions and ideas. And then they launch it to the market, And then if it's not successful, then they already had spent a lot of money. This way, their expenses go a little bit lower, and first we tell them that this is the idea, that it's gonna work.
Yeah, I know that we had a few clients that spent millions of dollars on technology to creating this app that they thought was amazing. And they go to the world and realize, oh, it's not working. And they already spent so much money. So yeah, I think
Exactly.
that's so important. Do you have like a prototype that you can share to the audience? Because I'm sure that some entrepreneurs they they don't have quite the idea of what is a prototype. What I'm gonna have when I work with us with in creating an MVP roadmap.
Yeah. Well, I found this very. This is the thing that we create. I cannot show one from any of our clients, but this is a very good example to
Okay.
know what an MVP can look like. So it's
Exactly.
basically this. This is what the client will basically get after we finish the project. So this is a prototype. It's basically how your app is going to look as if it was real. So you can move it around, you can click around, you can see how the app is going to work. This is what we use to test with our users. We give them this prototype, we walk them through it, and then they can tell us what they like, what they don't like. And then at the end, we deliver this. So as you can see, is most of it is designed on Figma. We create all of the screens that we're going to use with all the visual elements that it should have, with the colors of the company, the logos of our client, everything that we're going to need. So basically, this is how it's designed. We design everything in Figma. We create all of the screens that we're going to need with the features that we have already discussed. And then at the end, they get their final prototype, and this cannot be launched to the market. This means that it cannot be added into the Google Store or App Store, not yet. This is only used for gathering funds. But this way, you can go with your investors and tell them, this is the mobile app. You can go here, you can do this. After this screen, you will get here, and then you will get this results. And this is the value of our app. So this is basically what a prototype looks like. It's
Okay.
it's like as if you were using an app, but it doesn't fully work.
You're doing it on Figma. It's a clickable prototype.
It's a clickable prototype, exactly. You can click around. There are some features that are not going to work. All the coding doesn't exist, so you cannot do a lot of things as maybe like generating data or maybe uploading images. You cannot do that, but you get a very clear example of what would happen if you upload something.
Okay.
Maybe you can just like put like a fake image as if you were uploading something. So it's basically as if you were using an app, but it's not ready for the market. First,
Okay.
this is what you use to gather the funds to then go with the developer, do the backend coding of the app, and then launch it to the market. But this way, they don't have to spend money on the developer, not yet, until they get the funds. And this app is already proven to work in the market, and it has a higher success rate than if you were just doing it from zero with a developer and spending millions and millions of dollars.
My last question is, if I'm an entrepreneur watching this video right now and I'm interested in working with WANDR, what can I expect like in terms of timeline, deliverables, or the overall process?
Well, it depends on the project, because there are some ideas that are more complex and they need more features and they need a whole like big research. But if your idea is very clear, and that's why we try to make the ideas as clear as we can. If your idea is very clear and your goals are very clear, then most of these projects, they tend to last like 9 weeks. That's something that WANDR is very good at, is that they do these projects in a very good time. It's not a fast pace because we need to do it right, but it's not going to take you months to develop. It's going to take you around 9 weeks to get your prototype. And after 9 weeks, you can go ahead, talk with your investors, gather the funds, and then you can come back to us and we help you develop this. And we help you build it in a way that then you can launch it to the market. So that's how we work. We help them as much as we can to gather the funds that they need, because of course we want to help them make this now a reality. So we help them from the start until the end, but it doesn't take months. I mean, it takes a little bit of time, but it doesn't take like a year.
Not even years. I've heard some entrepreneurs that work years in the development of a prototype.
Exactly. Then
Well,
it's
I
gonna take
think,
you 2-3 months.
yeah. Okay, so one last thing that you want to add about MVP roadmap?
Yeah, I think it's very interesting. Most of our clients are very impressed after they get their first prototype because they can finally see their idea and they get very excited. Also, the investors, for them is easier to understand their idea in this way. They can test it, they can move it around, they can click around, and then they can see if it's going to be worth their investment. And I think it's a very interesting and fun and cheap way to see your idea become a reality. So I recommend it.
So go to WANDR Studio and schedule a call with us and we can help you with the idea.
Exactly.
Thank you so much for your time, Claudia.
Thank you.